him out for it, and in response, mind you, I had like 5,000 subs at the time. I had 5,000. I was a very, very small channel, and so he took it upon himself to send his entire fan base after me, and he made a video about how this stupid soy boy lefty called him, Memology 101, a Latino racist. Everyone knows Latinos can't be racist. It's never been unheard of. And that was literally the whole video. His videos are always like about a minute long, and they're always like essentially the YouTube video equivalent to the dumbest conservative Twitter take you could imagine. And so he was one of the big creators that kind of jumped on the bandwagon of criticizing AOC and Bernie because during their fight against oligarchy tour, they used a private jet to get between locations. And all of the right who is against like green energy and eco consciousness has been calling this out because they don't believe that people shouldn't be flying in private jets, but they know that like the left criticizes that behavior, and so they're trying to call out hypocrisy without really tackling the ecology, like the eco-friendly side of the debate. Like, they don't want to actually argue why preserving the environment isn't good. They can't argue that point, but they can point to everyone who argues for that and try to make them seem like hypocrites. And so that's what they do. And here's a good example of that from Memology 101. Let's take a look at his video he made 2 weeks back. And you'll find out why I'm covering a drama that's been broiling for 2 weeks in a moment. Memology 101's videos are very smooth-brained, so don't expect any groundbreaking arguments here. Bernie Sanders and AOC caught exiting a private jet despite their past criticisms of flying private. April 18th, 2025. Uh-oh, guys. There they are. There it is. Their private jet. Well, I don't know if they own it. The private jet they're using. I assume it's, like, rented, or they've, like, I don't know, like, got somebody who is offered to like, give them a private jet to use. Unless they just have one, in which case, damn. I didn't think Bernie Sanders and AOC had private jet money, but I guess they might. It's a light jet, too. Those have less carbon emissions than commercial airliners. I'm sure every way in which the harm could be minimized has been taken. The right will never accept that, nor will most people who fall for the talking point, though. They won't accept it. The right has been hammering on AOC and Bernie for this for weeks now. And, like, if I read the comments, you can see, like, all the talking points are there. Think that flight was taxpayer-funded? Almost certainly not. Bernie has turned out to be one of the biggest hypocrites in U.S. politics of all time, even before the specific occasion. They probably don't even know what oligarchy means. Just like when AOC went to the Met Gala wearing an Eat the Rich dress, the hypocrisy is just priceless. The thing I hate in politicians, both left and right, is hypocrisy. To fight oligarchy, one must become oligarchy. The millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share. Becomes a millionaire. The billionaires need to pay their fair share. Bernie Sanders. That's been a common talking point among them. Like, Bernie Sanders has always been famous for saying, billionaires need to pay their fair share. Billionaires should not exist. And now, recently, they've started pushing this literally made-up talking point that at one point, Bernie became a millionaire and stopped criticizing millionaires and saying millionaires should be taxed more. Bernie does say millionaires should be taxed more, but his rhetoric has always been more about billionaires, the ones who actually own 50% of America's wealth. The millionaires are part of the 90% technically. The billionaires own multitudes more wealth than the millionaires. They're the ones who actually are the 1%. So yes, millionaires need to be taxed more, don't get me wrong, but, like, they are a completely different league than the billionaires. Let's be real here, okay? Like, they're a completely different league. And I'm glad to say that Bernie Sanders and AOC are not backing down despite the attempt to go at them for this. As those comments say, and it's not an uncommon tendency, people do not like hypocrisy. If someone makes a good point and someone disagrees with that point, all they have to do is prove the other person is a hypocrite, even if it's unrelated to the point that they disagree on, and people will discredit the individual. And sometimes just discrediting an individual known for pushing an idea will also serve the double purpose of discrediting the idea as well. But Bernie Sanders and AOC aren't backing down. This came out just today. They just put out their response to this drama, which is kind of crazy because it's been going for 2 weeks. But I guess the right hasn't let it go. It's been ongoing, so they finally come out and decided it's time to say something. So let's find out. What did they say? I have not seen this yet.
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No. It doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign.
Oligarchy is not when you fly in a private jet. Oligarchy is when billionaires literally hold positions in government and have immense influence directly over how the country is run and how regulation is made, and where regulation doesn't exist, such as Elon Musk and Doge. That's oligarchy. Oligarchy is not having money. This is blatantly dishonest, but hey, it is Fox News. Also, there were actually some conservatives who came out to defend Bernie on this, believe it or not, Bernie and AOC. For those that don't know, the tour itself took place over the course of there were 3 locations they needed to go in 2 days that were on opposite sides of the country. It was they needed to go to Chicago, somewhere in Texas, and somewhere in Florida. Something like that level of distance in 2 days. And hold rallies in those places over the course of 2 days. Logistically, the only way is to fly. And taking a public flight, we all know, deboarding and boarding is an hours-long process. It takes a day to take a 6-hour flight. A 6-hour flight, you would think, oh, that's half your day, maybe. And you might still have time to do something before and after your flight during that day for a 6-hour flight, or a 4-hour flight even, right? Surely. But nah. A 3 to 6 hour flight is an all-day thing. The getting up, going to the airport, getting on board, at waiting at the terminal, getting on board, going through the security, the actual plane ride itself, the finding the getting ready for landing, the actual being on the runway, the taxiing or whatever it's called, and then the actual deboarding process, finding your luggage and getting out, going through the airport and getting it's a whole day process. I can tell you because I did that yesterday and I wasn't even the one taking the flight. I just went to go meet someone at the airport. And so yeah, listen, when they're doing a big tour type thing, it makes sense. It's the same reason why I don't give Taylor Swift shit for being progressive and seemingly pro saving the environment, but still flying a private jet for her Eras Tour thing, right? She is a big celebrity who can afford a private jet, whose income relies on being many different places that otherwise you would have to teleport to be there on time for. That is how you maintain a career that big and hold tours and concerts that big. Once again, this is an example of trying to attack. An individual is making a criticism about how a system is broken and a system is unfair. And the party who wants to defend the system says, well, look how well you've done in that system. Sure, that may be a good discreditor of the individual criticizing the system, but what's so frustrating is that all parties involved seem to accept that as a discrediting of the criticism of that corrupt or broken system. Hassan can be a hypocrite about his criticism of rich people, but his criticism of capitalism can still be accurate, right? And I don't even like Hassan. It's trying to debunk socialism by saying, well, Hassan, you're wealthy. It's no, engage with the argument. Actually try and debunk the ideology. Just try.